Bralador Ojokojo, affectionately known as Brad, is a passionate youth mentor, speaker, and ministry leader with over 15 years of experience working with teenagers and young adults. Brad is known for his relatable, humorous, and deeply insightful speaking style. He has shared his message across schools, universities, camps, and parenting events. He is driven by a deep belief that to guide the next generation, we must walk in their shoes.
Can we please put our hands together for Bralador Ojokojo as he comes to speak to us?
I've been talking to crowds since I was a teenager. Every time I have to stand up to talk in front of people, I'm always full of anxiety. But one of the things I want you to know, you should take away from this, is that one day, and the earlier the better, you would have to stand in front of people to defend or to share or to sell yourself or something you are doing. And it is something you can learn, and it is something you should practice. One of the things about your life that you must get right is confidence. Because the best version of yourself is your confident self. Because if you really want to deceive somebody, you have to show a great amount of confidence. A lot lies ahead of you. There is more to your life than there is right now. Between now and the future, there's a whole lot you have to do. But here's, let me tell you, between now and the future is your current habits. If you want to know what your future looks like, look at what you are doing today. Look at anybody good at anything that they are doing. It was as a result of the current habits they were doing daily. The habits you install today are the apps that will be running tomorrow. In other words, the habits you currently have in your life are the ones handling life for you. So the question to ask yourself, the habits I currently have, how well are they handling life for me? Should I say it again? Good morning. Okay, it's nice to be with you this morning, and I want to thank all the organizers for having me come to speak with you guys. I believe the event started yesterday, and it has been amazing for you. That's why you're here the second day. So, and I believe you guys are special people. You know, it takes a lot of self-will to be part of something that helps your life and helps your future. You could have been doing any other thing right now. You could have been coasting away, but you are here to learn, to grow, and to determine the future of your life. I'll tell you this. First of all, congrats to all the people that took part in that competition. You know, it is not so easy to stand in front of people to talk, to defend. And it never really gets easy, to be very honest. I've been talking to crowds since I was a teenager. And every time I have to stand up to talk in front of people, I'm always full of anxiety. But one of the things I want you to know, you should take away from this, is that one day, and the earlier the better, you would have to stand in front of people to defend or to share or to sell yourself or something you are doing. And it is something you can learn. And it is something you should practice. It is not a gift. I know people have the gift of charisma to be able to talk in front of people, but it's something you can learn. Let me just share a 2-minute story. I didn't start out like this. The first time I stood in front of people, I was in a church choir, and I think I was 9 or 10 years old, and I taught the choir the song. It was a song I liked so much. I taught them the song, and the day we were to sing that song, I was the one leading the song, and my head was down throughout the whole song. I did not raise my head. It was so bad that all the people in church were whispering my name. Brother, raise your head up, raise your head up. But I wasn't just listening because I was so shy. I was not confident in myself. I was afraid of the crowd. But now the story is different. Like I said, I have been conservatively talking in front of people for 20 years. And it is easier every time I do it. Are you understanding me? I'm just saying that to say to you that one of the things about your life that you must get right is confidence. I love the lady that said, you said you are dealing in confidence, right? That's how you said it? And truth, all of us should be dealers in confidence because the best version of yourself is your confident self. The best version of yourself is your confident self. And every place you find yourself, you must learn to present yourself as confident. Because to be honest with you, the people that win in life are the people that are confident, are the people that put themselves out there, and regardless of what they face, they stand strong and they look at it boldly. Recently, there's a word called con man. How many of us have heard that word before? You refer to people as a con man. And what that means is, I always thought it was somebody that was dubious, that was fraudulent, that was a thief, that was conny. In fact, I thought the short form of conny was con man. But recently, I was listening to a podcast by Joe Rogan, and he was saying that the word con man comes from confidence man. Because if you really want to deceive somebody, you have to show a great amount of confidence so that they believe you. It is just the truth. If somebody has played you before, the reason why you believed that person or you were deceived, because the person beyond reasonable doubt showed a lot of confidence. The person was sure about what he was saying. He was passionate about it. He convinced you to the extent that you believed. One of my favorite movies growing up as a teenager was the movie, it was acted by Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. And he acted like a fake pilot all through the movie. All through the movie. He did not have license to fly planes, but he was entering aeroplane. He had a fake ID card. And if there's anything, is that he showed a great amount of confidence. There was a scene in the movie where they came to investigate him. And he had a wallet. So he was talking to the FBI agent. And he told the agent that, you know what, I'm going downstairs to drop my things. Take my wallet. You can look through all my cards and everything. And he went downstairs. And the FBI agent was so convinced that this guy was really a pilot. Then the FBI agent took his wallet. When he opened it, he was amazed. Because everything that was inside that wallet were the stickers of all the bottles. So let's say he had ketchup, mayonnaise, drinks. What he did was that he removed all the stickers on those things and put it in the wallet. The reason why he believed that was because he just felt, and this happened close to home one day. In 2012, I was in Abuja, and I was driving with my cousin. His car did not have license. There was no car license. No, none. There was a day I was driving the car. I didn't have a driver's license. But I was confident in driving the car because I thought that, okay, this car should have a license. So even if the police stops me, at least I have 1 out of 2. I don't have a driver's license, and the car should have a car license. And as I was driving, I opened the glove compartment, and I saw that there was no paper. Nothing. So on this day, I was driving with my cousin. and VIO, Vehicle Inspector Officer, stopped us. And I just knew that today it was over. And my cousin just packed, brought out his wallet, and just said, "Presidency." And the guy said, "You can go." So I didn't know my cousin was working in presidency as at that time. So as he continued driving, I took his wallet and I opened it. And I said, there's no presidency here. There was no ID card. It was just complimentary cards of different. So I asked him, I don't understand. How did you do this? What if they caught you? He said, the way I did it, I didn't do it thinking they would catch me. I did it because I knew they won't catch me. So he convinced himself that he was working with the presidency before he showed that wallet. And the way and manner he showed it to the officer without the guy looking or even trying to confirm was that there was confidence reading on his body language, on his face, on his speech. And that is one thing you must learn. And at this stage in your life is the one thing you must learn. Today I'm talking with you about the best version of yourself. The best version of yourself. And yeah, you can follow me on the screen. And this stage you are in your life, this stage you are in, I have been there. And I've had a lot of friends being at this stage. I've grown up in this stage. I see it as it is the most significant stage of your life. Because one, it is actually the shortest stage of your life. If you're a teenager, maybe you're just getting out of secondary school, or you are getting into university, or you're about to wrap up university, and you've just gotten out of university. So let me technically say you are between the ages of 13 to maybe 24. That's just 10 years. Everything after that is a whole lot of time. Between now and when I was a teenager is longer than 10 years. But you see, this particular period of your life, it is the shortest and it is the most significant. The most significant stage of your life. I'm sorry, I don't want to be calling next slide. So I will just be saying the things that are in the next slide, so you just follow me. Okay. Do you understand me? It is the shortest and the most significant stage of your life. I want you to tell the person next to you, this stage of your life. I'm using this to wake you up because this place is cold. And when it's cold, one of the natural temptations when you are listening to somebody is to sleep. Right? We're all human beings now. Right? So I'm using this exercise to wake you up because maybe there's somebody sleeping close to you. You can't come all this way for this thing and come and sleep. Do you understand? So turn to the person next to you and say, this stage of your life is the shortest and most significant of your life. And because of that, a lot lies ahead of you. A lot. There is more to your life than there is right now. There's more to come. This cannot be the end. I'm not sure any of us would look at our lives and be like, at this point in my life, I want it to end. Because somewhere, there's more you want to achieve. You are not done with school. I'll use you as an example. You want to be a musician, right? I'm very sorry. You are a musician. I can be wrong too. So you are a musician. But there's more you want to do with music. This cannot be the end. You want to win Grammy. Don't worry, you win it. Do you understand? So there's more. And I think if I ask each and every one of you, there's more to your life than what there is right now. So it means that between now and the future, there's a whole lot you have to do. But here's, let me tell you, between now and the future is your current habits. If you want to know what your future looks like, honestly, if you want to know what your future looks like I said here, between now and the future are your current habits. That's the things that you are doing today. If you want to know what your future looks like, look at what you are doing today. You know, right now in the world, we are all obsessed with wanting to know the future. Everybody wants to know the future. And everybody is trying to find out the people that know the future. There are people looking for fortune tellers or prophets or people that can predict the future. Because we want to know what it looks like. And the reason why we want to know what it looks like is because we want to be sure that it is better than today. Because that's why we have hope. The reason why you have hope for the future is because somewhere in your mind you desire for it to be better than today. But what I'm saying to you today is that if you want to know what your future really looks like, look at what you are doing today. Because that is what your future looks like. So whatever you are doing today, that you are doing daily, is what your future looks like. We can move to the next slide. The best version of yourself. So I'll use you again. That Grammy Award winner, that's you. That's the best version of yourself. It's on the other side of your current habits. So that best version of you being, someone said is a phone tech. It's the first time I'm hearing it, but amazing. Or is a dancer. Or the guy that said a lot of people were creatives that have things to do. The best version of that is on the other side of your current habits. It's on the other side of the things that you are doing now. You know, let me just say this. Amanda, right? No, sorry. You play something. I wish you played it first before talking. Because I was waiting for you to play it. No, that's why I said I wish you played it first. Because playing it first is the best argument or defense of what you could have said. Do you understand? But you know what? The best version of you doing that thing is you doing it every day and getting better at it. It's not you keeping that instrument and in 10 years' time, you say you're an expert. It's you doing it every day. Because every day you do it, you get better. Every day you do it, you are learning. Every day you do it, it becomes so automatic. You know, I used to love playing soccer, football. The age I'm in currently now, it can't be a dream. Because my age mates have retired from football. But I love playing soccer so much. And you know, there are some things you could do in football that were so automatic. I had friends who were so good playing football that you were wondering where did they come from. But you know, the reason why they were so good at it was because they did something about it every day. They could do a step over, what we call leg over. Not because that was the first time they were doing it. It was because they are used to doing it. So even when they get the ball, they don't think. Once you just show up, they just do something. And you are gone. And we look at footballers today, it's the same thing. Or you look at anybody good at anything that they are doing. It was as a result of the current habits they were doing daily. So the best version of yourself is on the other side of your current habits. Your current habits are either preventing the best version of yourself, or they are leading to it. So if maybe you want to be a son, a senior advocate of Nigeria, or you want to be a top MD or CEO, or you want to own a company, what are you doing today? Because see, you are not going to wake up 20 years' time and say, I'm a CEO. There's something you have to be doing. Your life must go beyond dreams, desires, and the hopes that you have. Your life has to be seen in the daily habits that you have today. And at the stage you are in, like I said, it is the shortest and the most significant stage in your life. It therefore means that in this short time and in this significant time, you must build this. Talking in front of people is never easy, like I said. But you know what? I talk every day. My wife, sometimes she just enter the room and just be like, who are you talking to? And I'll laugh because I talk every day. I don't think I've met anybody in this hall in my life before, but I can stand in front of you and talk. Not because of anything, but it's just something I've been used to in the last 20 years. And it's something I've done my best to get better at. And there are certain things I do every day that helps me stand in front of people and talk. Because at the end of the day, I'm talking in front of human beings, not lions. So nobody's going to eat me alive. But I know how difficult it can be because I've been there before. And I know how difficult it can be for people. But you know what? If you do something every day, you will find out that you will make something that looks difficult become easy. Are you with me? So here are some quotes about habits. The first is that you will never change your life until you change something you do daily. You will never. If I ask everybody here, do you want to change your life? No matter how good your life is going, you will say yes. Because everybody wants better. Change is kind of like a nuanced word. Everybody wants better. But see, if you want to change your life, you have to change something you do daily. You don't decide your future. People do not decide their future. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. Are you with me? Success is a product of daily habits, and so is failure. None of it just happened. I remember my first result in secondary school. The result itself was a red flag. Because the only colors I was seeing on that paper was red. F, 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 F. And I remember I showed my eldest sister. And she said, "Brother, is your result?" I said, "No, it's not my result." Oh. And I was living in self-denial. In fact, I came up with a funny story. I said that, I just changed my middle name. Then I just given myself middle name Lawrence. And I said maybe they were confused. Maybe this is Lawrence's result. Bralador's result is still coming. But here's the thing. Success doesn't just happen. Failure doesn't just happen. There was something you were doing daily. And I was not the best in school, academic, average. But I found out why I was average. And it wasn't because I wasn't brilliant or intelligent. Sometimes when I talk to people, they feel like Garita was in first class. I always have to remind them, no, I didn't. But I figured it why. Because one of the things I did, or rather one of the biggest mistakes I made, in school, I actually wrote a book before I was done with university about academic excellence. I misplaced it. That's just to tell you how serious I was. And all I wrote in that book was that I looked at the best students in school then. Some of them were my friends. And I saw what they were doing that was different from what I was doing. And I realized that's why they are better than me in class. And I looked at it, I said, if they were doing it, and what they were doing was not a miracle. It was just their daily habits. I have a friend that every day, he was reading. He will carry one notebook in university to school. And he will just be reading every day. Everything they taught in class that day, he will spend at least an hour reading it. And gets it in his head. He graduated with the first class. During exam, he's sleeping. Always sleeping. But we, that were not doing anything daily, we are the ones doing overnight. And at the end of the day, he's the one that gets the first class. Then we that were doing overnight were the ones that were struggling with 2-2 and 2-1. I'm praying to God. But he, because he was doing something daily, every day. So success and failure doesn't just happen. And the last one, can we go back, please? It says, we first make our habits, then our habits make us. We become what we do daily. What you currently are is what you've been doing daily. And if you need to change who you are currently, is by changing what you are doing daily. Okay? Next slide. Life is all about habits. Life is habitual. Because for life to keep going, something must keep happening. Every day, this side of the world faces the sun. Every day. Every day. Every day you are breathing. Every day you are standing up. And the moment none of that thing happens, it's a problem. Something has gone out of order. And it's the same thing with life. For something to keep going, something must keep happening. And if you want to see change in your life, if you want to be better at what you do, then you must change what you are currently doing. So let's talk about habits. Because that's what I'm talking about. A habit, you can check Google, you can check, now we have ChatGPT, AI, and everybody helping us answer our difficult questions. But you can check. And habit, it's a series of automatic solutions that solves problems and stresses you face regularly. Now that's kind of like, what's this? Because all of us know what habits are. And in your mind, you're like, how does this fit? But I found a way of explaining it. So we can go to the next slide. Habits are the ways your brain solves familiar problems. And a typical example is, every morning, there's a problem we solve unconsciously. And that problem is taking your bath. It's wired into you. Sometimes it's brushing your teeth. Sometimes it's you wearing the clothes that you're wearing. And if you look at it, it is something that happens automatic. It is something that happens. If I ask you now, what were the things that you did to brush your teeth, apart from putting the toothpaste in your brush? It was just movement. One of the ways I understand this so clearly, and the day it dawned on me, I was scared. I was driving. I've been driving since I was born in the age of people that used to steal the cars in their parents' cars, drive it and come and park it. Sometimes you will bash it. I remembered recently, my friend called me one day. He said, Brad, I just bashed Popsy's car. Hey, I said, hey, you don't enter trouble. We were teenagers, he took it to mechanic to fix it. They did body work, sprayed the car. So when the father came, it did not look like anything happened. He went to jam well because he was learning how to drive. So I grew up in that generation. I don't know if they still do it now, but I won't advise you to. But one of these I was driving, and I realized that I was not seeing the road. What I mean is that I was not paying attention to the road. But I was driving and I was dodging cars. My consciousness was not there. And it happens to everybody that drives. Because you know why? Because now driving has become automatic. You are now on autopilot. Because you have solved a familiar problem. Often, your brain is now wired that you are driving unconsciously. And for me, it dawned on me why accidents happen. Because why accidents happen is because something you are not used to becomes introduced to the system. Then maybe you don't have the best responses. Sometimes maybe that your tire burst and you know you're not supposed to step on the brakes. And out of panic, you step on the brakes and your car tumbles. It's because it's a habit. I learned how to drive car with manual transmission. Now, most cars are automatic transmission. But I learned how to drive a car with manual. So it means, and it's my favorite car, actually, because it's more fun and interesting. Because you have the clutch, you have the brake, and you have the accelerator. You're driving with two legs. So you step on the clutch, you release it and step on the accelerator. You know, initially, when you are learning how to drive like that, it is difficult because how to get your leg movement. But it got to the point where I don't even think. I just get into the car, release, and start moving. I remember the day I was driving my car, and I was following somebody, I was trying to catch up with him. He came down when we got to the destination, he said it's a lie. He thought I was driving an automatic car. And I said no. He couldn't believe it because I was driving it so seamlessly, like I was driving an automatic car. And that's how habits work. Is that you begin to do things automatically. Your brain becomes wired in that way. Because you've seen a familiar problem, you've solved it consistently, and before you know it, every time that problem arises, your brain just connects the dots. And it just starts happening. A way to explain it further. Habits are your brain's... Can you go back, please? They are your brain's automatic programs handling life for you. It's like you have ground. You are not currently using them, but they are running. By the time you open them, you get to see that really these apps have been running. And that's how habits are for you, for us, for me. Is that they're like background apps running in your phone. And there are different types of apps. But if habits are apps installed in your life, what kind of apps are they? And they can only be two. Good habits upgrade you, bad habits downgrade you. In other words, good habits help you, bad habits don't help you. And now good and bad, how do we define good and bad? What makes it good? What makes it bad? And there are 3 areas that you can use to assess what makes it bad. And I would love for you to do an exercise. You can do it now as I'm talking, or you can do it later when you get back home and you're trying to reflect on what you've heard and learned today. Is that you take a list, you can do it on your phone, and look at in a day, what are the things that you do automatically? What are the things that are habits you currently have? It is between you and yourself. You know, in life, the person you can't deceive is yourself. So this is not me trying to know what's your habit. I don't want to know. I'm not trying to find out. It's between you. So write it there. So you write a list of all your habits. And I want you to determine these habits, whether it is good or bad, based on these 3 things. So we can move to the next slide, and I think the slide after this. First, I'd like to say this. The habits you... Sorry, can you just go back? Sorry. Yeah. The habits you install today are the apps that will be running tomorrow. In other words, the habits you currently have in your life the habits you have are the ones handling life for you. So the question to ask yourself, the habits I currently have, how well are they handling life for me? And how well are they giving me tomorrow? Do I want these habits to be running my life tomorrow? The habits I currently have. So we can go to this. The 3 areas of your life. So I said you write that list and ask yourself, the habits I currently have, how well are they helping my personality? And when I mean personality, I mean you as a person. Everything about you. Whether it's your physical health, whether it's your mental health, whether it is your makeup, everything about you. Are you getting better? Are you getting healthier? Are you thinking better? The second thing is productivity. Either you are here, you are in school, or you are doing some, and the good thing about the times that we're in is that most of us, while you're in school, you can be doing other things. You can be playing an instrument, you can be singing, you can be a tech bro, you can be a tech sis, you start a business. So you ask yourself, the habits I currently have, are they helping that? Are they helping me be a better musician? Are they helping me be a better spoken word artist? Are they helping me in school? To do better in school? To come out with a better result? And lastly, are the habits helping me with my people relationships? I wish I could talk so much about people relationships. But one of the greatest currencies you will have in life are people. I'm telling you. You can have gifts, you can have talents, you can have money. But you see, when it comes to people, it's one of the best things you can have. And how you relate with the people around you, your friends, your family members, your neighborhood. If they mention your name to a set of people, how do they react? So you should ask yourself, are the habits I currently have, are they helping the people around me? I'm a husband, I'm a father of soon-to-be 3 children, and I ask myself, there are days I just look, this thing I'm doing, is it going to help my children? Is it going to help my wife? Yeah. If it's not, then I shouldn't be doing it. Because if it affects somebody else, then it's not good. If it affects somebody negatively, then it's not good. Can we do the next slide? But the thing about habits, because they are automatic, they seem so difficult to stop or to even start a new one. Because like I said, life is habitual. So it means that you must master something. So let's say, for instance, you want to learn a new musical instrument. How do you start it? But I think one of the things that makes you must first start with is that habits follow your identity. And identity just means what you believe about yourself. Says a whole lot about your habits. It's a different thing to say that I want to read a book every day than I want to be a reader. They are two different things. One identifies you. One just looks like an action. If you say I want to be a reader, it means that you'll be reading. Because being a reader means that you should be reading. But you say I just want to read a book every day, it has no strength. Because the strength of your habits is your identity. It's you putting your identity in it. And sometimes the way to break away from habits that are not helping you is that you need to identify yourself different from those habits. Are you with me? The next slide. Okay. So now, some of the roadblocks that don't help us in either stopping habits or starting new habits is one, we first think that we have no control over it. And I can understand why. Because it is automatic. You just feel I have no control over it. And I will go back to this later. But the first thing I want to tell you, maybe you may not have total control, but you have control to a reasonable extent for you to change your habit or start a new one. You have control. The second thing is that you expect to break or stop a habit overnight. A habit didn't become automatic overnight. It took time. So if you are going to stop something that took time to become automatic, it means it will take time to become not automatic. It will take time. And because we are in a time where we are obsessed with immediate effects, we want things to just happen now and now. That is not life in any way. That is not life. It took time to get this event going. Nobody just came to this hall and did blah. The only thing that takes overnight is sleep. If you want overnight success, just sleep. You will successfully sleep. But everything that is worth doing or worth stopping takes time. So don't think today, something I've been doing for 6 months, 1 year, if I just decide I'm not doing it again, tomorrow I will not do it. No. Do you understand? Are you with me? Now there's a book I would love for you to read. If you've not read it, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Anytime I talk with young people around me, one of the things I will ask you indirectly or directly or one way in the conversation is, do you read? I can send you this book. Because I love reading. And you know the amazing thing about reading? I never liked it. How I started reading books was as a result of punishment. There was a day, my elder sister would buy me books. I wouldn't read it. I'll just keep it because just sit down and be reading book. It was not part of my makeup. And one day, she had given me a book to read. Or no, they gave me a literature book to read in school. And we were having family discussion, laughing, gisting. From nowhere, she just said, "Brother, have you read that book?" I said, "No." She told me, took me to the boys' quarters in our house, locked me there, and said I should not come out till I finished the book. The thing about it is that I had only one option, to read the book. Because first, I'm not coming out of this jail they put me inside. And if she comes 2 hours later and I've not read the book, I will still remain in the jail. So, I just picked up the book and I started reading. And boy, I still feel how I felt that day. I got consumed in the book. It was a story book. I entered the story. I was enjoying. They came to actually release me from the prison. I said, no, I want to stay. I didn't know reading books was that beautiful. And for the 2 years I was at home between secondary school and university, I read lots of books. Lots of books. Some of you may know John Maxwell. John Maxwell, Miles Monroe. Till, let me say, 2027 or 8, any book that John Maxwell and Miles Monroe had written till that time, as at 2018, I'd read everything. Because I had a brother that loved to buy books. So I never bought any of the books. I'll just see a book, I'll just pick it up. Some days I'll just stay in the house and read. And I'll be interesting to note, it helped me a lot with how I talk, with how I communicate, with how I write. Some of the things I know, probably it was from those books. Yeah. You can hardly give me a topic to talk about, and I wouldn't come up with something. And the only thing I can tell you is because I've read too many books not to be able to come up with something. And I'm saying this to you, not because I was born with the gift of reading. I didn't like it. So I'm recommending a book for you to read. Atomic Habits. It's an amazing book. Very interesting. Very insightful. You will learn a lot. A lot of things I'm sharing with you right now, I got it from this book. So I'm giving you expo. Are you with me? Now in this book, the author is James Clear. And now he calls this the habit loop. In other words, for a habit to occur, this must happen. The first, and just follow the arrows I'm using. Sorry, can go back? Yeah. You have the cue, you have cravings, you have response, and you have reward. And it goes in this clockwise direction. So it goes from clue to cravings to response to reward. Now the clue is simply information. The bits of information you get about a problem or a desire or something you need. The craving is the desire. The response is the action you do. And the reward is what you get out of it. And what typically happens, like he says, cues trigger cravings. Cravings motivate a response. A response obtains the reward. And ultimately, what your brain does, that it becomes a habit, is that it associates the reward with a cue. So whenever that bit of information comes to your head, it just goes straight to the reward. And your desire builds up. And before you know, you are acting. So I give a typical example. Let's say you are bored. You know, for most of us, being bored is that cue. And what most of us have done with boredom, for an example, maybe scroll through your phone. So what typically happens is that when you just get bored, or you don't know what to do, you just bring out your phone. And you start. Have you not realized that sometimes you're on Instagram or TikTok for 1 hour, and you cannot trace how you got here? You are just watching reels and just giggling. And you're just sending it to everybody. And you don't know how you got there. You know why? Because it has become a habit. It could be good, it could be bad. You decide. I gave you reasons to decide how something is good or bad. But what has just happened is that every time you get bored, it's a bit of information. And what your brain does to map it is that you get engagement through going on social media. So every time you're bored, automatically you just bring out your phone. And you know what? You're on Instagram. And maybe when Airtel network has been crazy this couple of weeks, and maybe when you are watching a reel and the thing is just, it's not going, you are frustrated. Because why? There is a reward that you want to get to feel this boredom. And that is why you are itching out. I'll use the example, the young guy, I think his name is Aki. Is he Aki? That talked about he was with somebody in his neighborhood that was trying to get him on drugs, right? Where is he? Yeah, okay. See, if there's anything I will tell you here, I can tell you this one with my full chest. You see hard drugs, I beg you, stay as far away from it as possible. I can say this to you because I grew up with people that exposed themselves to hard drugs. Since I was 13. Was it 13? No, I think maybe 13. Let me just say I was 13 years old. And I remember I had a classmate. She had 2 brothers. She used to intimidate us with her brothers. They were way ahead of us. I think one was like 5 years ahead of us in school. The other was like 2 years, 3 years. And they were fine brothers, big. She was untouchable because we knew if you do anything to her, she gets her brothers. And I remember this day, our brother was, there's this game called Truth or Dare, but I don't know what they called it then. We used to say double dare. So it was double dare to smoke a cigarette. So he went to buy a cigarette. And I won't forget this day. because he was walking in my clothes, smoking. He was just 15 and walking. To tell you how scared we were, we ran into our houses and we were watching from the fence. Hey, hey. And he was smoking. Not too long, I don't think up to 5 years, he was a crackhead. Up to, when I mean, I just got out of university, he was a crackhead. I'm telling you, he was, for me, a man to say somebody is a fine man, it means he's really fine. He was a fine guy. And I'll be shocked if he's still alive. I'll be shocked. So I've seen what drugs has done to people, even when it was just what we call Igbo. That's what, growing up, that was the only hard drugs I knew, or cocaine. And now there are so many. I have seen what it has also done to young people. It will destroy your life. Are you with me? So like I said, how do you stop habits? And in this book, James Clear says this: you have cues, you have cravings, you have response, you have rewards. He says it's simple. The cues, make it invisible. Make it invisible meaning that don't give it attention. You know, like what he did, being around somebody that is on drugs, stop being around that person. You reduce the cues. You take out the... And you know, the good thing about this is that sometimes when we want to stop habits or start habits, we think we have to start with something grand. And that's why the book is called Atomic Habits, taken from atoms. That small changes you can make, or small adjustments or alterations you can make in a period of time, you can stop a habit. So maybe for you, it's like you just take the cues. Like he said, there was a young man I was talking to last week. We had a camp meeting. And he was telling me we got into university and started being with certain guys. And because he was with certain guys, he was doing certain things. And as I was talking with him, I was going to tell him, and this is it. The reason why he's with those guys is because he's in the same hostel with those guys. And as he was talking, I was going to say to him that I think when you get back to school, stop staying in that hostel. But before I said it, he just told me that I think that's what I'm going to do. And I said, yes, that's what you're going to do. Because sometimes maybe the environment you are in is giving you a larger propensity to do certain things. Maybe the associations and friends you have are part of the... See, like I said, I could talk so much about people, relationships, and friendships. I have very close friends, guys. All of us are married. Most of us have children. And like I said somewhere, I would not cheat on my wife because none of my friends are cheating on their wives. The moment I start having friends that are very close to me, that are cheating on their wives, very soon, I may start cheating on my wife. None of my friends do hard drugs. None of my friends even drink alcohol. So where's the alcoholic coming from? Do you understand me? So your associations are important. So to stop a habit, make the cues invisible. Don't give it attention. Secondly, the cravings, your desire, make it unattractive. Your response, make it difficult. So put yourself in an environment that when you are going to do something, it becomes harder to do it. Very hard. Make it very tough. For some of you, being alone is making you do certain habits. So fight it not to be alone. Telling you, fight it. It's the way I broke off some habits, like pornography and masturbation. I try not to be alone. There's some things I don't watch. There's some people I don't follow on Instagram. There's some people's status that I muted. Honestly, there are some people I cannot be with in the same room. Are you understanding me? Am I speaking your language? Are you sure? Sure, Bo? You know I grew up in Lagos, so I'm not a Yoruba boy, but some things I understand. You know, from association, you can just get some things. Like when I used to go and buy something, there's a mama that used to sell plenty things. And she doesn't understand English. So the way I used to come is the way everybody before me communicated. So I just go, Mama, oferanko, rice, ati gari, ati this. I'm not Yoruba. Because the people in front of me, I'll just be listening to them. Okay, oh, you greet, ekaro, I'll say ekaro. Ofera, I want to buy. That's how I just knew it. Oh. So you're understanding me. If you want to break off some habits, certain things have to change. Maybe you will not be on certain apps for a period, or even forever. Like, there are some apps I've created accounts because I don't want any other person to use my name. But I am not on them. Like Snapchat. I'm not on Snapchat. I will never be. I was chatting with somebody one day. She said, let's chat on Snapchat. I said, no. If you can't chat on WhatsApp, you can't chat any other place. Because it's as if you want it to be secret. I'm sorry. Do you understand me? So if you want to break out of certain things, certain adjustments will make it difficult. They make the reward unsatisfying. Look at it, this doesn't solve the problem for me. Okay? Looks like my time is up. I talk a lot, so wow, no problem. Let me wrap this up. So how to form habits? Make it obvious. So if you want to be reading books, make sure you have a lot of books in front of you. So every time you wake up, you see a book. Maybe on your phone, you put an alarm that tells you time to read. Make it obvious. Cravings, make it attractive. In other words, look for people. Listen to people that when you hear them speak, it's obvious they read books. Maybe as a musician, listen to good music. Not just someone saying, aha, 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 oh, no. Listen to good music. Then make it easy. Put yourself in an environment that makes it easy for you to do certain things. And it will be satisfying. Take it as satisfying. Next slide. The whole point is that you don't have to change the whole. Just little adjustments away and towards the best version of yourself. Next slide. Time. Good things take time. Great things take longer. So because you started something today, it's going to take time. And it's going to be great. It will take longer. So don't give up. Don't stop doing it. If the Grammy doesn't come next year, doesn't mean you will stop singing. You keep writing. If nobody likes your view, maybe you put out content and it's one view. Keep putting it out. The actor that acted To Kill a Monkey, not Obozo, the other one. I was watching his interview yesterday. I just saw a clip or something. He has been doing films. Some films you don't even know. Maybe it was there's something called Waka Pass in a movie. That it's like, Nigeria, we know how to insult people without insulting people. Waka Pass just means that you had a very insignificant role in the movie. Maybe you were the one that was opening door. He had a lot of movies. But nobody understood. But see, he has done one now. Boom. So don't give up. Maybe you try this habit today. You want to read a book every day, 15 minutes, and you try. You slept off. Tomorrow, start again. You're trying to stop a habit. You tried. Start again. It takes time. Don't forget that. Next slide. Never think of an end in sight, but a journey you must never stop. So certain habits I have stopped, like I told you, pornography and masturbation. The things I did to stop them, I am still doing them every day. Because see, it's like you went on a weight loss program and you lost weight. Doesn't mean you should stop the thing that made you to lose weight. No. You keep doing it. If it's the food you are eating, you keep doing it. If it's the exercise, you keep doing it. Because it is more than a goal. It is more of what you are becoming. It is not an achievement. It is what you are becoming. And with the fact that you still have life in you, means that you should never stop becoming what you want. Next slide. Stay in the game. The goal is not to win the game, but to keep playing the game. What you must do to stop a habit is what you must also keep doing to stay free. To stay free. And I think this is the last slide. Next slide. Habits are the hidden math of your future. They multiply quietly. They're the hidden math. They're multiplying quietly. The next slide. I'll end with this. My pastor says this a lot. I've known him since I was a kid. That life is not what happens to you. Life is how you respond. Even no response is a response. One thing I will guarantee you with life is that things that you did not plan for, unpredictable things are going to happen. But what determines the outcome of your life shouldn't be left to those things that happen. It should be left to how you respond. Maybe you decide to finish school next year and something happens with the Nigerian government and there's an ASU strike. That should not determine the outcome of your life. How you respond. Maybe in that season, tell yourself, there's something I should do now. Maybe I should go and start a business. Maybe I should go and read. Maybe I should start a program. Don't just sit down there and say, oh, ASU has gone on strike, so me, I'll go on strike. You shouldn't go on strike for your life. For the best version of yourself, you shouldn't go on strike. There are no off days. You stay in it every day. Because here is it. What you repeat today, you will reap tomorrow. What you repeat today, you reap tomorrow. And if you keep repeating it every day, and every day, and every day, and every day, that's what you get tomorrow. The best version of yourself is in your future. And what you are currently doing today looks like what you will be. So if you want to change what you'll be in the future, change what you are doing today. Thank you.